Berk Bucukoglu of Qrypt is here. Thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you.
What do you see as the best ways that industry is interacting with the Defense Department now, and what DoD is doing effectively to interact with the defense industrial base?
100%. I think it's imperative that industry become very collaborative with the Department of Defense, because quite frankly, we provide the expertise and the research and the technology that's cutting edge to keep the DoD ahead of our adversaries. If you take a look at just where the market is going with a lot of the different cyber threat landscape that's going through, sometimes the DoD could be playing a defensive role when we should also be on the offensive side. So these are some of the challenges that we've noticed that have been concerning a lot of the DoD clients that we've been dealing with and working together with in terms of how do you stay ahead of these threat vectors.
Yeah. In this environment, what does an effective collaborative relationship look like? Collaborative implies to me at least each side's giving, each side's getting.
100%.
What does each side give and get in an effective collaborative relationship, industry government-wise?
100%. It's not one size fits all. It can't be a square peg with a round hole.
Fair.
Right? So that's the challenge that you run into. There's so many vendors here at the conference here today. You have to make sure that how can all of these play well together? Because the DoD has spent a significant amount of resources, training, as well as money into different architecture and infrastructure that's out there. It's not that easy to continuously rip and replace or to just add on. So what we've been doing as well in industry is working together to figure out how can we all work together to basically complement one another. And I know this is a very novel idea that's usually been reserved for a lot of the integrator space, but I am seeing industry, especially that's where our company is focusing on, is starting to look at other types of technologies of how do we create some of these new emerging technologies to help defend against the cyber threat.
Is that where you think the trajectory is headed in the collaborative space, where industry tries to kind of take that role of collector or curator? Integrators may be a technical term, but do you see that as where this relationship is headed, industry and government?
I really do, and I think it needs to happen that way. Because some of the challenges that you're going to deal with, let's take a look at one is the newest and greatest threat vectors. If it's not AI and machine learning, quantum computing. And I know that's a bit of a red herring, right? Is that in 2 years from now? Is that in 5 years from now? Is that in 20 years from now? If you take a look at a report recently from McKinsey & Company, the Chinese are investing over $15 billion publicly in quantum computing. The United States is far behind at just under $2 billion. So when you're talking about if this was an arms race, they're spending almost 8 times what we are in terms of those types of quantum computing power. In the good hands, it can do a lot of great things. Yeah. In the wrong hands, it can cause a lot of damage. So when you take a look at a lot of those vectors, it has to be an open conversation to evaluate what are the different technologies that are out there and how can we all assist each other. And it's not just positioning the point of sale product. What's the training? What's the resources that need to go about it? And how do you make sure that it's able to scale and to stay ahead? So those are the things that we've been looking at together.
Berk, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
100%. Thank you so much.